Hey everyone. Hi, welcome. I'm just admitting the people. Can you guys hear me? Yes? Okay, good. Perfect. I think it'll just tell me if anyone else is waiting. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Leah. Okay. Well, we'll just, give her like a sensible minute. How's everyone doing? Unmute yourself. Tell me how you're doing.
I'm a crispy fried critter tonight.
That's what you said, Cindy. Did you forget your sunscreen?
Yes, I did.
Sassy. Okay. Da-da, da-da. I am excited about this. I got my notes, got all my things, all my props. I'm just gonna try to see, like, I haven't ran a Zoom in a long time. Oh, there's a view. Gallery view. That's what I want. Okay. I did only Zoom dance classes last summer, obviously. That was a trip. And I haven't been in charge of a Zoom since then. So here we are. All right, I'm just gonna give it like 30 more seconds and then just kind of like get started. I am recording allegedly. Oh, Rebecca's waiting to get in. Come on in, girl. So hi. A lot of you, Leah did not join in COVID, but I think almost everybody else has. So this will be exciting. Okay.
I literally can't wait to like book an in-person event.
Seriously. I know.
Much money. So easy.
I remember like way back in the day, it was like, I mean, Facebook's fine, but you really want to do in person because that's where like it's at. And then like that just totally went away. Okay.
I'm so excited for that too. That'll be awesome.
Me too. So I am going to give you guys kind of an overview of like the 3 different kinds of in-person events because you could literally do a training on every single one of them like individually because there's just like ins and outs of each kind of thing going on. So what I kind of have is a one-on-one, like a one-on-one, like you are literally doing someone's makeup, like a makeover, and then like a multi-person in-person party, and then like a vendor event or like a flea market or a craft fair or something where it's like, the general public is just walking by. So I have those 3 categories, and feel free to jump in if you guys have any other suggestions for like, types of events that you can think of. Those are the main ones that I could think of. Okay. I think we're good. Okay, so hi, let's get started. Welcome. My name is Mary Lee. I think every single person on here knows me, so hi. I am obviously going to talk to you guys today about in-person demos. So like I just said, there are those 3 different types. So the guidelines for, demoing makeup on somebody, there are a few that are really just universal across the board. So I'm going to take care of those first. Then we'll kind of go more in depth about, each category and then open it up for questions. I think this, if you guys, I think this might kind of have like a lot of questions. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go through my spiel and then we will see where we're at. Okay, so this is a fun fact that I did not know. And unless you are a licensed cosmetologist, which I feel like nobody in here is, you can't touch the other person's face. So when you are doing a one-on-one demo with them, you can't just legally like use your ring finger. You can't even really use your fingers or hands to touch their skin or their face at all. So you always want to be using brushes or like a tool, if you will. So cleaning your brushes. Now that we are going out into putting like, our brushes onto other people's faces, you have to make sure that they are extremely clean. So the best way to do that is use rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol is going to be your bestie for in-person demos across the board. And I'll get kind of more into that like for vendor events and stuff. But when you're like sanitizing your own brushes, just brush cleaner isn't really going to cut it. You want to use literal rubbing alcohol first, like soak them in that, and then use a brush cleaner to like clean the brush. Okay, so then I'm just trying to admit the people that are waiting. So Clean brushes are clearly and obviously a must. I feel like that's kind of self-explanatory, but it's good to say it out loud. So then for yeah, hold on, going back to my notes so I don't get sidetracked because you know me, I'm so squirrely. Shoo, shiny thing. Okay. Tester. Okay. Oh, the next thing is to go over the materials. So tester wands come in a multitude of like things that you're gonna kind of want to need. So how do you demo lip sense? You will get these little, and rest assured, every single thing I'm showing you, I bought on Amazon Prime. I didn't even have a link. I just put it in the search bar. I was like, tester wands, boom, they multitude of options. So you're gonna get these little cups. These are called tattoo rings, tattoo ink cups, tattoo rings. And that's what you're gonna scrape the lip sense into for someone else to try it. So for a one-on-one demo, definitely you're gonna put the lip sense on them. A vendor event, they can swatch it on the back of their hand, but we'll get to that later. So this is when you're literally going to physically put the lip sense on the person. Then you're going to need an applicator wand. And I bought this giant bag, which came with like 200 for like not very much money. All of these materials are pretty inexpensive, which is awesome. So this tattoo cup is where you're going to take your lip sense tube. I had a prep, there she is. And you're going to scrape the product into the cup from your tube. So scrape, 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 dip, scrape. You're gonna want to make sure you kind of get, maybe more than you think you really need, like fill up maybe like about a quarter of the whole little cup. Then you're gonna take the clean applicator wand, you're gonna dip that into the tube first. Then you're gonna get their first layer is gonna be on the applicator. So, and you're gonna do this all in front of them. And while you're talking to them, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see this color on you. This is gonna be so gorgeous. And can you believe it's not gonna come off? Oh my gosh, so cool. So, don't just stand there and be like, you gotta make small talk. So you're going to then have them apply have them do it or you do it, whoever's doing it, their first layer, and then they re-dip into the cup. So that's how you eliminate all sources or, possibilities of double dipping. So none of that. That's how you do the lip sense. Shadow sense, what I do is I just take my tube and I take my very clean brush and I don't use the tip ever. I just take my very super clean brush and I will fluff it off of the wand and do that. Because this part doesn't really ever touch, you know what I mean? It's just like less, it's just less. We're all trying to do our best. And if you're ever going to put like color correcting tinted moisturizer on them, or if you need to pre-mix something or you need to put something on whatever, what I do at a one-on-one is I'll be like, oh my gosh, hey girl, like I'm so excited to do your makeup. I'm just gonna clean off my stuff really quick and we'll get set up and then we'll get ready to go. And I will take rubbing alcohol and a cotton ball and I will clean off the surfaces, my brush handle, stuff like that. And I'll clean it off all in front of them while we're having small talk. Obviously you're not gonna do that at a vendor event or a larger party, but a one-on-one, that is something that's easy to do. And then it just shows them like, this is all super clean, look at me. So it's like, it was important before, but I feel like obviously it's just uber important now, like muy importante. Okay. So those are the kind of different materials that you're going to need. Then for mascara, you're going to get disposable spoolies. Again, giant container, $208. And the thing about the mascara is especially, okay, so don't demo mascara at a vendor event, like just buy it. At a one-on-one, when you are putting mascara on them, you shouldn't and can't double dip the wand into your thing. So you got to go through one of these with every dip. So you are getting in there, you're scraping that side. You want to get as much product on that one spoolie as you can. And then I always warn them also, like, these spoolies are not nearly as amazing as the actual applicator. So don't judge the way the mascara looks by, this applicator wand, because when you get the applicator wand that it comes with, you're going to, it's going to be 10 times better or whatever. And then that's for mascara. Then for, if you're doing any sort of skincare, anything, these little popsicle sticks come in handy also. So I bought a box of these on Amazon also. So it's just like a little popsicle stick, but it's like a cosmetic one. And you can use that to, just remove anything from a tub. Moisturizer, if you have an old resurfacer, detox mask, anything skincare, and you don't want fingers dipping in there, even your own. So just bloop, and then there you have it. So that is a list of like some of the tools that I would definitely go ahead and invest in. You're doing in-person things that you're going to need. And then also glossy gloss and matte gloss samples. So I'll talk about this more when we're doing the vendor event section, but definitely these come in strips of 5 and I think it's like $1. So easy peasy, throw some in your next order. I like to do glossy and matte, and there you have it. So I think that's kind of it for materials. Leah, do you want to jump in? Do you have anything else I maybe forgot?
I don't think so. I mean, now we
Okay.
have like the samples of like the CCTM and stuff, so they can just
So
you
much
know,
easier.
or the only other thing I would suggest, like if, like you said, pre-mixing things, like either get just like a palette off of Amazon. There's like, I have a metal one, or you can use like the top of your cap or whatever. But sometimes you can use the palette, and then you could scrape like the shadow sense on there too, and then use like the brush from there too.
Yeah, those palettes are awesome. Thank you so much. Those are a super good tool. And again, cheap, like $2. Love it.
Yeah, just search like cosmetic palette or something like that.
Yep. And it looks like a little painter palette, but it's like even cuter.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. So I want to go back really quick and just say this again for the new folks. So hi, if you're just joining us, I just wanted to reiterate that when you are doing a one-on-one demo, you really cannot touch their face with your hands. And that's probably something that maybe you didn't know and you're like, oh my God, and it might be shocking. I had no clue until I was about to be doing makeup business. So it's just a thing. You just can't touch their face with your fingers or hands. Okay. So we went over the materials already, and then like kind of like one-on-one. So